All right, people. So we back for another roundtable. We're gonna do why black women are black women too masculine, part 2, because we got a couple requests. We had some good questions and some good comments. So we want to go through them and kind of answer them as we go along and go from there.
We got some pretty good questions. We got a couple people. There's one person about part 1 said this whole argument is complete and utter bullshit. That's cool. One thing with the round table is you don't have to agree with everything. My opinion is my opinion. Your opinion is yours. Somebody watching it, their opinion is their opinion. Yeah. We don't have to agree on everything, but at least we can start a dialogue about things.
Yeah, that's important. And one thing people need to understand is that, for one, it wouldn't be good if we all had the same opinion. It'd be boring as hell, for one. But two, we all men, and we respect each other as men. It's principles that we hold each other to, not language, not opinions. You know what I'm saying? Now, if one of these niggas stop taking care of their kid, they ain't gonna be around.
You say your kid was what?
but you know, certain things, yeah, it is what it is. Right. We all men, we all say what, you know.
Right. Yeah, we can agree to disagree. It's okay if you disagree. Yeah. You ain't got to be disrespectful.
Yeah.
I think that's the biggest thing. We get a lot of comments of people going a little too far with their comment. Just say I don't agree because, and we can have a discussion about it.
But you got there's a lot of females that comment on a lot of the videos that's mad at a man for giving a man's point of view.
And one thing you want to do with, because usually the guy that they're mad at is probably the guy that resembles some guy that they mad at for real.
Mm-hmm.
So instead of getting mad at him, use this as your opportunity to understand the guy who you really didn't understand.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Because you can actually put a question in that you can get answered by somebody who you feel thinks similarly to the guy that you're really angry with.
And especially since you ain't attached to us. There's no attachment. You're just listening to our opinion. A lot of men got these opinions. Maybe it might differ a little bit. We don't always agree, but you can take this information and use it as it is. Yeah.
Further though, I read the comment and, she went on to say something to the effect of when a black woman dates a non-black man, they seem to be able to find feminine ones or something to that effect. First and foremost,
she was saying that they act more feminine when they date outside of black men.
So in order to be feminine, they have to date outside of black men. It seems like what she was kind of
because we don't encourage them being feminine or something to that effect.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, first and foremost, all of our women are feminine. First and foremost, no one's saying that all black women are masculine. But there are some, and they have, and black women have a unique situation in this country and in this world.
Well, black people in general have a unique situation, because they set it up to reverse our roles.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And so
it's engineered.
And so it ends up because we talked about it slightly earlier. Everybody naturally assumes that women are more monogamous than men, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then like I was saying, if you look at the animal kingdom, female animals who are as big as or stronger than the men perform sexually like the men do.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of birds are more monogamous because they're about the same size. You take bugs, female bug bigger than another bug, you fucking nigga and kill them.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's kind of this whole concept. So when you flip the roles and you put black women in a position where they, to a degree, can protect and provide for themselves, then the association of masculinity might not necessarily be masculine as much as it is human nature of the people who can protect and provide for themselves.
Mm-hmm.
So it might be a shift in what we call masculinity versus actual nature that people have. Because if you look at other people, black feminists will disagree, but black men
They disagree with everything.
Yeah, black men are the least oppressive, be it intentional or by design. We're the least oppressive. Right. So as a result, our women are in today's society have the ability to provide for themselves. To a degree, they have the ability to protect themselves. You know what I mean? And so as a result, they have more liberty to do what men have done. You know, over centuries, thousands of years. You know,
So it started to make you look more masculine doing that. But don't get it twisted. We put everybody hand to the fire.
Yeah.
We ain't talked about bitch ass men. It's this nigga favorite saying. Bitch ass niggas is his favorite saying. He say this shit almost every video.
I'm hoping that one day the bitch ass nigga will become extinct and I can just call everybody brother and king and all of that. But until then,
yeah. So we not picking on women. It was just our opinion about the situation, and we gave the women the credit, saying and explain the reason why they're more masculine. We talking about because of bitch ass niggas.
But I think also sometimes when women hear men tell the truth, they get upset. It's also because they don't want to step outside of their comfort zone.
Mm-hmm.
If you can't find a man, you can't keep a man, or you just got a bitch ass nigga in your life, it might be because you're afraid to step outside of your comfort zone. If I say something, men prefer women that know how to speak 3 languages. This is not a real case, but let's say I said that's most black men's requirement is that you know how to speak 3 languages. Don't get mad at me for saying that if it's true, because you don't want to go learn how to speak 2 more languages. You know, I just told you the truth.
Right.
You know, that's just an example of, not necessarily true.
Use information
but you
as
have
you
to
will.
be able to step out your comfort zone and recognize an honest opinion or the truth when you hear it, instead of getting mad and saying, well, that's bullshit. How you gonna tell everybody that their opinion is bullshit?
Right.
And the reality, like, of black men and women is that we don't deal with each other until we start trying to fuck with each other. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's no intersexual organizations. You got the 100 black men, you got the 100 black women.
Boys, girls,
you got the alphas, you got the
Girl Scout,
Qs.
Boy Scout,
Yeah,
all that
Girl
stuff.
Scout, Boy Scouts. You got the men's ministry, the women's ministry.
Right.
So we don't really know how the other one and we don't know how the other one thinks until we are actually compromised in the way that we deal with each other. Right. So now I want something from you. So I'm not paying attention to how you think the same way. You know what I mean? I never got to see you as a friend. I never got to learn and this goes both ways. Right?
Yeah.
We never got to learn what value you bring from the way that your mind works. Right? And so now it becomes this whole, I don't agree with it. I'm offended by it. Get it away from me. You know what I'm saying? And the sad, what's sad about black women is that there's a system in place that allows them to never have to deal with it and actually issue consequences to men generally when they don't agree with them, and they can't make them do what they want them to do. They can call backup and they can get shit done that normally would have to be worked out amongst those 2 people. You know what I'm saying? Like an Asian woman and an Asian, people hate when you compare different races, but the only race where if I got a problem with my woman, you know what I'm saying? And even if I'm not putting my hands on her or anything, if she's scandalous enough, she can call somebody and she can make me wrong, no matter what I am. And that doesn't happen in anybody else's, setup.
I mean, like you said earlier, it's designed that way.
Yeah, it's designed that
so,
way.
it's
But it
kind of
gives
fucked
us
up.
the option of lack of accountability.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Especially when most of the things put forth by the America, the government, whatever you want to call them, is beneficial for you not to have a man in the house.
Yeah.
Right.
We give you all of this. You want food stamps, we give you this, we give you Section 8, but that nigga can't be in the house with you. And kind of going back to what you said else about the when you don't deal with people, when you don't deal with the other sex, right? And especially in your age group, your measuring stick is kind of your mom and your dad. Your uncle, your brother. So that's the only people you know. So you inherit your mother beliefs about men. And it fucks up your relationship here. Because you're not learning about men now.
Right.
You're taking your mother's passing on her experience to you, which is not necessarily true.
Yeah.
Right.
And you don't know whose fault it was, whatever relationship it was. You don't know if your dad or her boyfriend was the bad one or was your mother the bad one.
Right.
So you got to kind of experience that stuff yourself.
Yeah.
Just because that mom don't mean she wasn't in the house.
Right.
Look at the numbers. You know
Right.
what I'm saying?
Right.
Look
It
at the
is what
numbers.
it is.
Yeah.
Right. How many niggas named Uncle came in out of your life growing up?
Right.
But then you normalize that. You know what I'm saying? That's the thing. You normalize whatever behavior you see as regularly. You You know.
I think the overwhelming majority of the comments that we get on a lot of the videos where we do talk about relationships and stuff like that, from the majority of the comments that we get from sisters, the majority of them to me are positive and stuff like that. We had a young lady, she left a few comments on YouTube and a comment on Facebook that said it was an excellent discussion talking about part 1. She said it was tried, true, and honest. Would a part 2 topic be possible? So that's the reason why we're here. So shout out to And You Don't Stop, Yo.
And you don't stop, yo.
And you don't stop.
Yeah. Well, read one of the comments. Read a couple of them if you got time. There's a couple things.
What was the first thing she said?
She said,
the roles reverse or something along those lines.
one thing she said is because some people think black women are too masculine. Do you think the traditional roles between black men and women are dead? Why or why not?
They're not dead, but the polarity is fucking off.
Well,
in a lot of relationships,
I would say traditional roles to a degree are dead, and what I mean is,
I would say dying, not dead.
Well, no, in general terms, there's nothing wrong with them being dead if you can still flip it to your advantage, right? So in general terms of the whole man being the head of the household, women staying home with the kids and all that shit is dead. That's gone.
Oh, yeah, that's white.
That's basically gone. You know, you're going to have the few exceptions to the rule, but... I'm
gonna make my wife go out and work, and I'm gonna stay at home.
Yeah. I mean, I'm saying like you said something right.
Yeah, do that.
But the whole construct of men leadership don't have to die, even if the woman makes the same or makes less or more, but the man as a leader has to actually have some shit worth a plan worth following.
Right.
Plus, I think also black women are a lot more educated than they were.
Yeah.
They're far more educated than everybody on earth right now. They're the most educated.
Everybody.
Yeah.
So I think it's tough when they're the most educated for those old roles to be the same.
And to a degree, the role should die because that's a valuable asset you have. You know what I'm saying? Like, there should be more cooperation.
Right.
I mean, there should be no dictatorships in relationships.
Definitely.
You know what I'm saying? And when you talk about traditional roles, to agree, that's kind of what you're talking about. You're talking about a patriarchal society where what I say goes because I bring the money in and blah, blah, blah.
Shut your ass up.
Right. That's
bake the cookies.
So,
I'm hungry.
All right. This ain't the 50s or the 40s.
That's antiquated thinking, you know what I mean?
So I think to a certain extent, they're not dead. I think at the end of the day, in a healthy relation, in a lot of healthy relationships, not all because all relationships are different. And a lot of them, the man is still the head of the household. The woman still holds him as the head of the household, but it's not an unequal head of the household thing.
And just the way it is different. You know what I mean? You can't just look at money as this sheer thing of what makes you the head.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
I think back in the day, it was more of
money.
Yeah.
I'm the head of the household. I'm above you.
Yeah, for the guys who ain't making more than a woman, you got to learn how to manage money well. You know what I'm saying? So you can actually figure out how to take the money that y'all making and start letting
something.
Right?
And the same vice versa.
Yeah.
Whoever does not make the most money at least need to know how to.
Yeah, but if you want to be the head of your household,
right.
You got to learn how to manage money, even if you ain't making what she make.
Right. You can't just be sitting there like, it's Jordan's coming out next week.
Yeah, you got to learn how to manage.
You think I could get $200? I got 20.
Nigga, where's all your money? Well, what happened was... What had happened was...
So, I definitely agree with all of y'all fellas on that one. Number 2, she said, why is there such a lack of motivation among so many black men to handle their business and perform in a relationship?
Well, I mean...
I would like to preface it on her behalf of saying I don't think she's talking about all black men. Because whenever you make a statement, people will be like, why she say all black men was lazy?
Yeah, we don't do that. People watching do that, but we don't do that.
I think, you know, a lot of that's going to come from upbringing. And, you know, if you came up in a household where you didn't see a real relationship or a healthy one or whatever, then how are you supposed to know how to cultivate and maintain one? You know what I'm saying? So I think part of that's going to kind of come from the culture of how a lot of us come up. You know what I'm saying? A lot of us come from 2-parent homes or, you know, may be with our mother and have a good man. She may have a good man in her life who can be a father figure and whatnot. But you know, a lot of us don't see that. So you don't have they don't have the example, number one, to follow, and then that's going to lead to, you know, a lack of practice. So I think that's one aspect of it.
And you should, I think you should question all your beliefs. If you think you in a relationship and you believe something should be this way, you should question why.
Figure out where you got that idea.
Right. Where did it come? Did this come from mom?
Right.
Where did this come from? And you should question it. And, right.
Yeah.
Analyze this shit, break it down, and be like, no, that's some bullshit. That might be some bullshit. Or I really believe in that. You got to question whatever belief you got going into a relationship also.
But I think on the relationship part of that, that's one thing that people don't talk about and kind of get to the root of early on in relationships. As soon as people start getting kind of serious, I think you should talk about, you know,
future kind of.
The past, because the past is kind of what makes you up right now.
Right.
You can tell what kind of childhood wound somebody got,
absolutely.
what kind of past relationships. If you talking to a dude and you notice that he has a track record of bad relationships, and when you talk to him about it, he's not even friends with none of the people that he used to date, not even friendly. If they saw him in the mall, they would want to spit in his face. And his parents' life was bad and all that. That's some signs that he might have some issues. That don't make him a bad person, but he might have some relationship issues. Right. And, you know, it's the same way the other way around, but when it comes to people being able to perform in a relationship, there's a lot of indicators early on if they're going to be able to or not.
And you gotta, as far as dealing with irresponsible men, it just has to be a line drawn as far as what men can accomplish being irresponsible. You know what I mean? Like, you shouldn't be getting no ass if you got 5 kids and 5 mothers.
Right.
You know what I mean? It just shouldn't happen. Like, you should be, like, blacklisted.
Right.
You should not be... It should be possible.
Like, what's your name, nigga?
Yeah.
Oh, no, you on the list.
Yeah, I mean, but that's the thing. Like,
no pussy list right there, player.
There's too much, we're not serious enough as a society about, like,
moral
older
issues,
people. We don't hold people high enough to a high enough standard about where they're. For one, we don't even know each other long enough to figure out who they really are before we fucking with them, you know, seriously.
Right.
And then too, even when we find out, we let stories tell us, and don't get it twisted. Systematically, we fucked up, right? But certain behavior is not excusable.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
That's the thing.
Because at the end of the day, you still dictate what you do as an individual.
I would hold. If I was a woman, I would hold a guy a higher strike for having multiple kids and mothers than going to jail. It's real easy for you to go to jail as a black man. That's not hard to do at all. But when you got 4 or 5 kids and I mean, there's certain things we just you gotta hold.
Something going on there. You need to figure it out.
You need to set higher standards.
And that's part of the whole situation of women being able to provide and protect themselves now. So now you're not really looking for that in a mate. And so that screening process is gone. And so you can just have fun to a degree. But then when it comes to the actual community, the community suffers. And even the women suffer in the long run because they're not getting what they really want. They're just getting a piece of it.
Definitely.
You know, I think it was interesting with that, and we, you know, and people lie in relationships. You know, dudes lie. We, you know, at times we say things that we think are wanted to be heard. We can get what we want, so on and so forth. But you know, become a good enough conversationalist, and someone who can read people to find out somebody's intentions. Like ultimately, like. You dating this person, you need to know what you want out of it, find out what they want out of it, so you know if you're wasting your time.
And a big part of that is listening to what people say instead of getting angry.
People do not listen to
damn.
damn.
If you look at the comments, a lot of people would rather get angry than to listen to the shit that was said.
Right.
You know
or they'll key in. If I say some bullshit right now and say all black women is this, they not gonna hear nothing he said for the rest of the video because you mad at what I said first. So we do the same thing when we're talking to a person. If I start out and say, babe, I get mad when you do this, you ain't gonna hear shit else. I could compliment the fuck out of you for the rest of this conversation, but all you know is nigga said he don't like when I do that.
Right.
You know, so
Right.
we don't even get to have a dialogue anymore.
Right.
Also, I think, you know, one big part of guys being able to perform in a relationship, a lot of guys just ain't ready to be monogamous. And a lot of times, because we love a woman, we'll pretend like we are because we don't want to lose her, but we want to kind of want our cake and we want to eat it too.
Right.
But we're not ready for that.
Right.
Men cheat not for the same reason that women cheat most of the time. We
Right.
cheat just because
She want to give it to me, right?
That ass over there.
Yeah.
You want to give me some ass?
Right.
I just sat there at the grocery store. This is free.
This ass for me right here?
Take this.
For me.
They got shrimp.
Right. Yeah.
It's a good day for me.
And that might sound like, I'm sure we'll get 15 comments and say, that's bullshit. Y'all could. I'm not saying that you can't, you still are in control of what you do, but that's the truth.
Yeah, and then too, like, it's not always gonna be one perfect package. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
I remember I was debating with a client who was saying that she was calling this guy immature because he was still sleeping with multiple women.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, that has nothing to do with maturity.
Right.
He just,
Nothing to do with it.
yeah, it's a sex drive. That's just his drive. I mean, if he's handling his business, he takes care of his children.
And telling the truth.
Yeah.
He's saying, I'm sleeping with you.
Yo, I wait till
No.
he matures, because she said, I wait till he matures and becomes a real man. He's fucking women. What you mean that? You know what I'm saying? I mean, he said he takes care of his kids. Him being, she's like, he 50 and he's still out here. I'm like, that has nothing to do with it.
That has nothing to do with it.
That has nothing
Married?
to do with it. Yeah.
You got-
He wasn't married.
You ain't
So
married?
it's just like, that has nothing to do with maturity. It's just a different desire that exists within him, and he's not ready to cut it off for
Right.
you.
You gotta let people live their truth.
Yeah.
If that's his truth, let him live it.
Yeah.
Don't try to stifle his truth and try to control him.
and if-
We don't want you to do that.
Yeah.
He gonna cheat on you.
This is just unfortunate that a lot of times guys aren't honest with women about that, but
Yeah.
I understand sometimes why they're
Well,
not,
why
because
not?
if I be honest, then I'm going to lose you, and I done got grown quite fond of you,
Right.
and I don't want to lose you.
Now I got to lie to you.
Right.
See what you made me do.
If I lie to it, that means I don't give a fuck. Or I'll say it backwards, but you know.
What's the next one? She
Also, in that same thing where she said why is there such a lack of motivation among so many black men, I think that,
There's no examples.
I think in general though, I don't think people are that motivated.
Yeah.
Everybody, that's why self-help gurus and stuff like that are so popular and they make so much money, because everybody wants to get better, but nobody's willing to do the work to get
And
better.
also when it
But
comes
black men are at the bottom of the totem pole, so it even messes with your self-confidence a little bit more.
Yeah, and then also when it comes to men, I mean, even men of all races, because there was a book talking about how men aren't really trying to get married anymore.
Yep.
I mean, the way society
Men on
is,
strike.
yeah, exactly. That's the one.
I can't think of her name, but it's called Men on Strike.
They've pushed it so far toward the women that you can grow up as a boy and see your mother cheat on your father, and they divorce, and then your father have to pay for her to keep living because she wasn't working. You know what I'm saying? I mean, who's gonna be like, yeah, she can fuck him over,
Right.
and because she wasn't working, he got to pay alimony.
Right.
Because she decided she wanted to be with another motherfucker.
Right.
You know what I mean? And then you got another uncle who might have lost his license because he lost his job for 2 weeks. And now his child support stole his license, right? And so there's so many different things that boys see. You know what I mean? Even though you may not be saying, I'm not getting married because of this, it's still in there. It seems like marriage is losing.
Right.
It's a losing
Right.
proposition.
Now
for
you
boys.
don't want to
It's a bad business deal for a man.
Yeah, it's a bad business. It is a bad business.
Right. It's a bad business deal for a man.
And you might not even realize that that's why you don't want to get married, but subconsciously, mommy was a hoe.
I'm gonna lose all of my shit like dad
Now
did.
you don't want to get married because mommy was a hoe.
Yeah, I mean, even in instances where the woman makes more than the man, oftentimes he still has to pay. You know what I'm saying?
But that's deep. That's deep that you would bring that up, because that's also something that I think women, single mothers, even need to think about when raising their kids. Is this might affect him, even the way he looks at women. You know, we always talk about when single mothers not having that man in the house and all of that, how he can grow up to be a bitch ass nigga or something like that. But he might be overcompensating because he's scared of women being like mommy was.
Right.
That's deep. She also asked, how can bitch ass niggas turn into real niggas, or is it too late for them to change?
It's too late.
You think it's too late?
I think the only thing that'll change.
I don't think so.
I think the only thing that's
Tough.
certain guys can be reached to a certain level of information. I'll say that, right? But even cleaning up your personality doesn't mean you're going to be able to clean up your actual position in this world. So that's kind of like the conscious community. You got a lot of guys who get a certain amount of information, and so they're not fuck boys anymore, but they still just out here losing. You know what I mean? But then I think for the most part, it's going to take a generation of men, of boys coming up, given the right game young, who are so thorough that the older dudes get shamed into being better. You know what I'm saying? But I don't think it can just be.
I mean, it depends on how you a bitch ass nigga. I think. Like if it's some kind of fucked up belief you got, that shit you can work on. If you just a fucking loser, you just a fucking loser. It's a different. It's a little different there. So it just depends on what.
I mean,
what's making you a bitch ass nigga?
I think it depends on how you define bitch ass nigga. But to me, when we normally talk about,
he's so happy you said that. I love her for this.
Most of the time, when I'm talking about a bitch ass nigga, I might be talking about somebody that got kids and don't take care of them. There's something morally wrong with him where he's not even fucking trying to take care of his kids.
But do you think he can be fixed?
It's tough.
I don't think
so. You don't think if he started taking care of his kids, you don't think he can flip and start saying, "Okay, I'm fucking up. I did wrong."
He can, but the man who will leave his kid, especially once he's bonded with them, you a piece of shit for real.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's possible.
Especially to the guy who decides to take care of the other kids of the woman you fucking. I think
a lot of guys.
That shit is
I
weird
think
as
the
fuck.
guy who actually fell on hard times and left out of shame can be turned around when he comes back on his feet. But the guy who just said, "Well, she ain't giving me the pussy no more, so I'm gonna go take care of somebody else's children."
I mean, I think people have paradigm shifts all the time, where at some point they just say, "What the fuck am I doing? Let me turn this around." But I think the majority of bitch ass niggas is just gonna be old bitch ass.
I think, but men gotta realize that it ain't just about money. Let's say he loses a job. You gotta, if you got kids, spend time with them. Invest other shit besides money.
Right.
But then
time is a big one.
To create something worth putting into the kids. You know what I mean? You got to be out here reading and getting your information and stuff like that. But I think like lazy niggas, like even like a loser who was a real good athlete or a real good dope boy, or I mean, if you've been used to working hard at something, it's hard to get a motherfucker who ain't never worked hard to work hard.
You don't really have that work ethic.
You gotta have some type of work ethic, be it through sports, through some type of program, through some type of hustle. If you have no type of hustle bone in your body, I don't think you can be turned around, man. You know,
I think it's possible, but it's rare.
I mean, possible, but I don't really see.
I ain't gonna say it's impossible, but
I wouldn't advise you to put your face there.
Yeah.
You don't do it. Right. Let that nigga do it on himself.
And also, don't try to turn a bitch ass nigga around. That's something he got to do on his own. He got to do some soul searching.
He got to do his own work.
And Shahrazad Ali, she made a good point in one of her videos. She was saying that black women need to stop trying to pick up black men from the bottom. Because he said that, you know, and it's true. If most men want to be seen as she didn't say it this way, but most men want to be seen as that nigga, that dude in their So if you've seen me at my worst, once I get to the top, they gonna get rid of you because you've seen them fully exposed. You know what I'm saying? So now that I'm at the top, why be with you when you just seen me like this? When I can be with a woman who's only seen me like this. You know what I mean? So a lot of guys, you know, some guys will be down. I mean, it's the truth, though.
Yeah,
it is fucked up. But it's the truth, though.
Especially when you have an argument or a disagreement, it get heated.
I mean, you know, a woman might throw it in your face and all that, but even a woman who wouldn't, it might be the shame of his ego to say, I want to be with somebody who knows me in this light.
Right.
He might have been real fucked up. He could have been a wino. He could have been shitting on himself off or something. You know what I mean?
You think she'll bring up how fucked up she was?
Yeah. Remember, nigga, I found you was shitting on yourself and you was drinking.
Prime example.
I'll raise your bitch ass.
Prime example. The Tyler Perry "Why Did I Get Married" shit.
I was gonna say
Michael
that.
John White and his wife, how they were fighting. She was always shitting on him, and I make more money than you. You ain't shitting no more. Blah, blah, blah. You know, like that. That's that wasn't cool, obviously. You know what I'm saying?
Maybe
And,
you shouldn't. But that's all. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So I mean, you know, prime example of why that kind of thing could break off. I wonder is that why, or could that be why you see a lot of brothers who once they become successful in entertainment or whatever it is, they then go, you know, the things the sisters say, they go and get them a white girl, right? You know what I mean?
Well,
So
I got a theory on that. I think, you know, black men and black women, period, have a harsh history.
And nigga saving up for a white girl.
Nah, get that bitch.
I'm sorry, man.
We got a harsh history, right? So, like, we don't want to face our demons with each other. I mean, black women have shitted on black men historically and vice versa, right? And so you ever known somebody who was like a coach and everybody loved a nigga like to death, but then he got kids he never took care of, but he mentored everybody else's little kids. Sometimes it's easier to deal with people who don't share your demons with you. You know what I'm saying? And so you end up, black men and black women don't want to face the real problems we got. You know what I mean? So we just like, you know, I can fuck with this white woman because we don't have anything to work out. We don't have a history to work out. Because, you know, memory, this ancestral memory, this intergenerational memory. We got shit that we got to deal with from shit that happened hundreds of years before we was born. And so when people, you know, you hear a lot of black people say, well, white guys are easier to deal with, or white girls are easier to deal with. You know what I'm saying? Some of that is the fact that we got shit from hundreds of years ago that we never fucking had.
Angry about something.
Yeah, we do, and it lingers, even though it's not. It didn't happen
it's
with
not
us.
Prevalent, right?
It
it's not
still happened.
Right.
You know what I mean?
It's in the DNA.
It's in the DNA. So it is a little more comfortable to take sometimes the outsider.
Also, I think with that, it's a lot of times as people get their money up and all of that, they try to assimilate to white society.
Oh, absolutely.
And not even just black people.
Yeah.
You notice that with Asian people, Indian people, Mexican people, all different
America's
races.
done a fantastic job of pushing the white woman as a pillar of beauty and the ultimate
prize.
Yeah, the ultimate
prize.
car. It's like the ultimate sports car.
Right.
You can afford a Maserati, wait till you can get you a white one. You know what I'm saying? It's like,
As soon as people come up, you want all the things that the white man has. I want to live in his neighborhood. I want to drive the same car he got. I want to wear the same clothes he wear, and all of that. When they trying to do the same shit you doing, you don't even know it.
Yeah,
they definitely are.
So, well, if we in general, we would know that if we. All right, my dude put something. If we look, exactly, it's just right there in front of your eyes. Like my man put something on Facebook today, and he said something to the effect of non-black people come at blacks in America crazy. They try to, flex, put their chest out, so to speak. And he was like, and he used an example of every elevator you in, they playing jazz music beat. And when you go here, you see this, and you hear this, and you hear that. And I was thinking about that shit. I was like, damn, you know what I'm saying? And then me and my mans was talking about it, and I was like, I wish I had the power to be on some Twilight Zone shit and take every influence of our people worldwide. Just take it away. And I want to peek and see what the fuck the world would look like.
It'd be horrible.
It would look like a wasteland. It was like Terminator.
Eli, man, I'm telling you.
Mad Max in the Thunderdome.
Exactly. You're going to be shooting cats with bow and arrows with goggles and listen to an old ass iPod.
All right, another one. There was a young lady that said, funny thing is that women are empowered because they are forced to be empowered. When there are no men to protect a woman, she takes on a male energy. She becomes aggressive to protect herself and her kids. When there is no man, their people, namely white people, will talk to a black woman any way they want to. Black men need to stay by their side so they are not victims of this. And the reason why black women settle for bitch-assness is because, and I hate saying this, that's all I really see.
Yeah, that's real.
One thing I think with that is you need to try to make sure that you're swimming in different circles, though.
Yeah.
If you don't do nothing but go to work and go to the grocery store and to the club every now and then or something like that.
But it ain't a lot of circles, though. It ain't a lot of
I
sex.
think
You gotta find the right circle.
It depends.
Shit.
I think one big part of it is it depends on where you live at also.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of networking and stuff like that
Right,
that kind of goes on amongst black professionals in a lot of different places.
Yeah.
I think you better off starting with that than
But,
just whatever nigga walk up to you in the club and be like, hey, let me buy you a drink.
But I mean, we gotta be honest about a lot of black male professionals are a full submission, man.
Oh yeah.
A lot of
A lot of them.
They bent the fuck
Yeah.
over.
So they look for that male energy, and that shit is completely gone in them.
It's been drained
You know what
out
I'm
of
saying?
them. A lot of them. It depends
A
on
lot
what
of them
they do
is
though.
completely gone, and so then you end up with the over aggressive shit that they kind of mistake for real male energy.
Right.
And it
right.
looks better than that neutered nigga with the. You know what I mean?
Right.
It does. You know what I'm saying?
Just
So
neutered
it's
nigga.
kind of like, where do you find actual masculinity? And then two, real masculinity can be offensive. You know, like people talk about how we dress, like in the comments.
Right.
You know, almost every video you got on your company shirt.
Right.
You got on one of your company
I
shirts.
got my company shirt
And
on.
I got on one of my company shirts.
Right.
But instead of them even recognizing that, they say, real man wears suits and ties and button ups.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's,
And I just got done working out.
yeah.
Bitch, I ain't about to put no suit on.
Yeah. I mean, but that's the thing, though. It's like, it's
To
not
be on the
even,
video.
it's not
Right.
even recognizable. You know
Right,
what I'm saying?
that's true, that's
like,
true.
like everybody here almost every week got on either their own company shirt or some type of black company t-shirt, or at least a black t-shirt. If it
Some
wasn't a
represent
black
our
company.
culture, right?
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, but that's not what you want to see. And that's not what you associate to being masculinity.
man.
Right.
You look at that as boy shit. You know what I mean?
But see, that's also what I mean by you got to swim in different circles sometimes because you might be constantly attracted to what looks like masculinity to you in your head, and you missing it. You might not talk to a guy that's got on construction boots and some dirty ass jeans on, but he own 83 rental properties and he just got done rehabbing one.
Yeah, look for dirty niggas, man. I'm gonna tell you why.
Dirty but not stinky.
Yeah,
niggas.
Certain type of dirty niggas.
Dirty, not smelly, not bad hygiene, but dirty niggas probably own some real estate or fuck with cars. You gonna be dirty. You know what I'm saying? But it's just, you know, it's. I think it's so hard to recognize, for black women to recognize what manhood looks like now, because black manhood now was designed by white men. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I mean,
present day. Yeah,
we're in a real fucked up position because a lot of black women want a man who will choose who they feel will make white men comfortable, right?
Yeah.
And so it's like literally, like, I can't bring you to my company dinner because you might say some shit about Mike Brown, even though intelligently and everything else, that would offend my boss and have me looking out here fucked up, right? So now I can't choose you, even though you a man,
Right.
because I can't afford for you to come saying some real shit. So it'd be like, we all play sports. It'd be like your cheerleader's not cheering for you unless the team during the warm-up made the opponent smile. You know, like some teams come out and you be like, oh shit, we in for something.
Right.
And other teams come out, you be like, oh, okay.
They ain't shit.
And it's fucked up because your cheerleaders won't cheer for you unless they actually happy to see your warm-up. Like, oh, okay. You know what I mean? And so it's just a bad situation all the way around.
That's that trying to assimilate shit.
Yeah.
Women gravitate towards beta type men because they're more like you.
Plus they get a better position in the world,
Right.
if they're getting that
Because they're not
position
threatening, like you said.
if they're getting it given to them.
Right.
You know what I
They're,
mean?
they're not threatening. They ain't got that alpha thing. It kind of goes, but it kind of, you know, you used to being around women, kind of like what we talked about. Everybody is separated. So that when somebody alpha comes at that alpha energy, you don't want the confrontation. That's not what you're looking for. You want somebody to kind of agree with you, kind of even assimilate in your relationship, kind of, okay, babe, you want to do that? Okay. You don't want nobody to go headbutt with you.
Right.
And you need headbutting.
That's part of that masculinity thing.
Yeah.
That's very masculine in a woman when a man can't even agree. And that's, you know, you're not going to keep a man like that.
Yeah.
Don't no man want no woman that he got to walk on eggshells in this relationship. He can't even say what he's thinking as a man.
I mean, fucking a relationship, you ain't supposed to agree all the time.
You're not.
If you agree all the time, it's a problem.
Yeah.
You're not. But it damn sure can't coming home can't be like two goddamn Rams.
Right.
Butting heads every day.
Every day. No.
That goes along with us not knowing how to deal with the other people.
Indeed.
You know what I mean? Like, we really don't. I remember when I first started training, had my partner back in the day, and a lot of dudes hated that we was training their girls, you know. And I was like, if these niggas only knew we saving their fucking relationships, because they come with some of the dumbest shit. You know what I mean? Some of the arguments, just the way that, but because we're outside of it, we can say, look, he was only trying to say this.
Right.
And then they'd be like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
See, he ain't put it that way.
They listen to us.
They listen to you because you're not in it.
Right,
you know what I'm saying?
They're not
I've
invested in you.
saved this nigga relationship 20 times,
Right.
and he hates me.
Right, he hates this nigga got spandex shorts on.
I'm trying to sabotage your work. Giving the girl M&Ms and shit. Hey, man!
Oh, man.
This is all for you!
And in the parking lot, he don't see nothing but the spandex sweatsuit.
Right. Marlon Wayans and the Nutty Professor.
Right. Look beyond that, nigga. Last one. It was a young lady that said she really enjoyed it. That was one of the best roundtables yet. You are very correct on the root of the problem. You should do a part 2 where you address the importance of the nature of men and the nature of the women and how to go back to what is normal in the face of attacks.
So what do you think she mean by nature?
Like the men is the head of the household, and
So the old traditional type. Okay.
I
think she's kind of talking about the
protection
attacks
and-
on the black family unit.
Yeah.
How do we get back to just having a strong family unit?
Okay. I think everybody got to play their role. It's kind of like what we've been saying. You got to kind of play. Either you're gonna be a man or a woman. You can't play both sides of it, and everybody got to do their part to move forward in the relationship.
And you got to raise your kids with the idea of who they're gonna be as adults.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, your son ain't gonna just watch you cut the grass at 16 and not think he can watch his woman cut the grass when he's 25.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if your son is 16 still watching you cut the grass, you paying somebody to come cut the grass and there's a lawnmower in the garage, then you have fucked him up. You got 2 years left to fix him.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? You got to make him understand why it's important for me to get my mother's grass cut. Now, if he's a little hustler, he can pay for the shit.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? But he should understand at 16, my mama's a single mother. Her money ain't all the way right.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to at least remove this burden from her.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? At a certain point when he has to, and you got to beat it into him, not literally. That's another thing. But black women got to stop doing emasculating shit to boys.
Right.
You can't cuss little boys out no matter what. You can beat your son up and not emasculate him.
Mm-hmm.
But if you smack him in the face, you just turn him into a bitch.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You get certain things you can't do. And as a woman, you can't really, there's certain lines you can't cross that men can cross because it's coming from a woman.
Right.
A man ain't allowed to be beat up by, you got to find an uncle or something, a brother.
Right. And say, hey,
beat his ass
right.
for me. Because you got to protect his idea of being a man.
Mm-hmm.
And if he's used to getting his ass whooped by his mother,
That's real.
it's going to fuck up his whole concept. For one, it's going to, your uncle can beat your ass. It ain't going to have no bearing on how you see men later in your life.
Right.
If your mother's ass, you going to want to whip some female ass.
Right.
That's why I get older.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Especially if mommy was a hoe. But mom, you a hoe.
Right.
How you gonna hit me when you a hoe?
Then you get hit again.
There was a nigga over here yesterday. I ain't say nothing about that.
And you never know how people gonna respond. So in that scenario, it can turn out a few ways depending on that person and his personality and who he is. So he could become hyper aggressive, and he could be running around like that masculine energy that we were talking about, that kind of misdirected thing. Because one thing I've learned growing is everything's about balance. So that quote unquote beta male, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, you won't be way over there. You won't be Ben Carson, bitch ass nigga and shit. You know what I'm saying? If you ever watched this, but and then you don't be too super aggressive either. I think